you're pitting. I grab onto my bicep, put my head here, and I just squeeze, and I take a big deep breath in. I'm going to do it real fast, okay?
Good night.
Did you feel it?
Yeah.
You feel it starting to pitch? Yeah. So again, 6 seconds, and they're out, okay? 6 seconds, and they're out. 15 seconds, they're probably fighting. Usually, this is a very, very, very fast choke that you pop in. So it's not going to be super fast. And this is when you don't go straight for a choke. You go, this is kind of one of the last things once they've started exhausting themselves, because again, you've retained all of your energy, right? By using all of your leverage. So the wrist releases and things like that are not costing your energy. They're going to be so exhausted from trying to fight. Or this is one that is commonly used if he's attacking a friend of mine, and I can come up behind and wrap him in that choke. Okay? So this is something that is not your go-to. You're going to be tired. They're going to be focused on something else. So if he's, pummeling a friend of mine, and he's, maybe on his knees pummeling, I come up behind again, the chin to your elbow, grab your bicep, hand behind the head, and a big deep breath. And that will just hold it, and they will be out. Just so you know, try.
Now, Holly, the reason I asked you about friend downstairs is because it signals this looks. You've practiced a lot.
Yes.
I guarantee you, Lauren,
Absolutely.
it's just something that
Yeah, absolutely. We can look into it. Oh, see, she's already got it. Okay. Looks like you've done this before. All right, yes. All right, so you're going to sink your elbow right under your chin. All right, you're going to grab your bicep. Yep. So grab. Yep. There you go. And you would just take a big deep breath in and squeeze. And just squeeze. No, that's it. Big deep breath.
Gonna remember that.
Yes. So that's what they call a rear naked choke. There's going to be broken wrists and there's going to be chokes tonight. Yes, but I can definitely work on getting some sheets together. I'll just get email addresses for just kind of the.
Do you want to secretary the choke collar?
You want me to send one on the choke?
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to choke him with the collar?
No. Holly, what's your last name?
Keatts, K-E-A-T-T-S.
K-E-A-T-T.
Yes.
And you can just call me an unidentified victim.
The mask will, you can't see who it is.
Do you have a studio?
I have one out of my home, actually. So, and then I have a student taking private lessons right now, and she's going to be getting her pink belt. Now, the pink belt is the Women in Power program, and it has 15 lessons plus reflex development. So, what reflex development is, it kind of kicks in that muscle memory. The first time I had my first lesson with a wrist release, I went to my husband, I'm like, hey, grab my wrist. And it took me a few minutes to figure it out. He just kind of chuckled, right? Like, oh, first day of self-defense. Well, now I'm like, hey, do you want to see what I learned? And he says, no, get away from me. Because now I know what I'm doing, and it has clicked. So it is a lot of it is muscle memory. A lot of it is confidence. Just knowing you can simply get out of that wrist release is everything to some people. And that's all I need to just boost that confidence to keep going. I am available. I can do Zoom lessons if you want to go back and refresh just some of the standing techniques, the wrist releases, even a wall choke, which I can show you if you want to. Here, we'll do break. So one of the other main things that you see in the movies a lot, right? Someone is going to have you up against the wall and they're going to choke you, right? I can't do my slip. I don't have anywhere to go. Okay, so what do you think we do?
Now comes the testicle part, right?
Yeah. Well, then I lose my base. I'm wobbling, right? So, easy.
Arms.
No, his hands. I grab his hands. I find the weakest. I have the ring finger here, over here. I'm going to break that finger. What's gonna happen is he's gonna react to that, and once he lets go, I can throw an elbow. If he's down far enough, I can wrap his hands. So again, I know, right? And it's so easy.
I noticed that she was like this big.
Is it easy to break finger?
It's very easy to break.
Oh, you know, you got
Very, very easy. Yeah. So.
Try it. Oh, yeah. Try it. Oh,
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, that's why I'm barely even grabbing onto his hand. So what I do is I pick which one. It doesn't matter. It can be a pinky, it can be a ring finger, just whatever. Ring finger is usually the least resistance. Then I grab the wrist to make sure he can't go anywhere. And this is called a monkey grab because I'm not holding on. This is a seat clamp. Monkey grab will keep him, he can't really pull away. He's not going to have time because I'm going to take this finger. I don't know if you can see over there how I have it here. And I'm just going to snap it. That's going to cause them to react. That's what we want, where we can throw the elbow or wrap a guillotine choke. Okay.
Forget the guillotine chest.
See, I haven't shown that one yet. That's fun too. That's a slower choke, but in essence, the head comes through when you wrap it here.
You can, I
Yeah.
guarantee you, if that was my finger, that was my fight with the other one.
Yeah, it does not take much at all to break a finger. It doesn't take much to release a wrist. So some of the things everything that I've taught you today is on our Women Empowered test. And they have 15 minutes, well, it used to be 15 minutes. They have unlimited time now to do all of these things. A lot of them are on the ground, where someone is sitting on top of you, and that's called the mount position. So there are fun things you can do from the mount, such as chokes. Then there's also guard, where if they are in between, are still on top of me, but their body is in between my knees. So that we would go into kind of like a clinch. We would stay close, but we can break arms, we can break legs, we can do chokes. It is, when you say you don't want to be on the bottom of the fight, honestly, that's the best place to be for a smaller person, a weaker person, a kid, a woman, to be, because that's where you have the most control. Usually if they're sitting on mount, they're sitting on you, they're pummeling. If you stay close, they're not going to do anything. They're going to exhaust themselves trying to sucker punch you, trying to rabbit punch. Get ticked off because you're stuck like glue, essentially. So that's kind of the adage. Again, whoever manages the damage, manages the distance, manages the damage. So, any questions? Questions, concerns?
Holly, are you fully confident? I'm 6'3.5", 250. Are you confident you could take me down? Is it the element of surprise, or is it surprise and technique? Which?
It is all technique. You can be ready for it. It is technique. As I said earlier, Grandmaster Elio Gracie, he was a $140. When he started Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, he was fighting people that were well over 100 pounds heavier than he is. And he relied on his technique and leverage to be able to take anybody down, to break any appendage that there is. So I have no doubt I'd be able to take you down in a heartbeat.
How long has this been around?
Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, actually, it was brought over from China. So, or not China, Japan. Japan. It came over from Japan. And it's kind of judo, martial arts. And then when they got to Brazil and they taught Grandmasters Elio and Carlos Gracie, they started to kind of mold their own. So 1925 is when it really started. 1952 is when they opened their very first full academy. And I believe that was in Rio. And then from since then, if you see UFC 1, 2, 3, you're going to hear the Gracie name a lot. And actually, next weekend, I'm really excited, Brian Ortega, who is also known as Brian T. City. He is the protege of Henry Gracie, who is one of my head instructors and one of the guys who certified me, will be fighting in UFC. So if you guys are into any of that, go root for Brian T. City Ortega. He's awesome. He's the sweetest person, but so incredibly lethal. But yeah, so it's been around. It's not as well known as karate because everybody wants to learn to punch and kick. Well, that's fine, well and good, but what happens when you're on the other end? So that's kind of where jujitsu is the self-defense program, learning to conserve your energy, use leverage, use what they're doing against you. So even if he had me by the hair, come here, I'll show you a hair grab. If he's got me by the hair, he's got me by the ponytail, and this is the one thing I do tell my kids. What's the first thing you see happen in a girl fight? Right? Hair? Okay. Yeah, awesome. I'm going to take it and I'm going to turn his arm and I'm going to break it. Okay. All it takes is a couple extra steps. Yes, I did. So I have a nice telescope grip, which means my hands are in sequence, close together. Okay. Step 1 foot back. I pivot to turn his arm. And if he's coming with me, come with me a little bit. There you go. All right. I have my arm hit, breaking his wrist. I'm going to bend down and pull up. That's going to snap his elbow real quick. Just by hair grab.
Good God.
Okay. So again.
Everybody else.
Yeah, I'm really going to break it. And telescope grip. Okay, usually I'm going to get my base. All right, take a step back, pivot. If I need to back up, I can. Armpit to the elbow, bend down, pull. And it doesn't take much. Snap.